everybody, it's me Hatsy, and today I am back with part 4 of Let's Play Witches. So in this part, it's really going to be picking up from the last part. There was a little bit at the end with Eve and Irvin and Elizabeth seeing them, and that is really going to kick off in this episode. So if you're not sure of the cliffhangers that I usually leave at the end of the episodes, make sure that you watch them if you want to follow the series, because it can be pretty important. So it's usually after I say, see you soon, that is when there is a little cliffhanger, and yeah, that's when something happens. Now Eve is walking down the street. She's probably looking for Irvin right about now. But where is Irvin actually gone? Irvin is actually over at Elizabeth's house, and the reason is because she sent him a letter and she is going to be interrogating him right now. So they're having some serious talks at the house. Now Elizabeth, I know that a lot of people do really like her character, and I do as well. I think that she's really interesting, and even though she's mean, she's only specifically mean to certain people. So for Irvin, for poor Irvin here, she'd be pretty mean to him. And the reason is because Elizabeth does not have much time for humans whatsoever. In fact, Elizabeth is very much involved in the magic world. So even though Elizabeth doesn't have fancy powers like her daughter Marielle, she really does care for witches and wizards and spirits and all sorts just involved in the magic world. And Irvin is not involved in that. So Irvin is a massive threat to her community, and she knows that Eve is entirely different to her and the way that she thinks. And she would be really worried. She would be worried in case Irvin would potentially mess things up for the future of the Elder Witches, and it's most likely that he actually would, even though he doesn't intend to. And Irvin right now, I would just imagine that he's being like the most gullible, vulnerable human that anyone can possibly imagine, just by saying, oh yeah, I love Eve so much and we're so nice together, it just works perfectly, I've never found anyone like Eve before. So yeah, Elizabeth would be like, okay, he's just gullible and vulnerable, he needs to go. This guy needs to go. And that is probably why Marielle's here as well, because Marielle loves drama. So Marielle really does stay close to her mum, and she makes sure that her mum is protected. And yeah, Elizabeth is really just an old, vulnerable woman, and she's like hundreds and hundreds of years old. So Marielle is pretty protective of her mum. They're also best friends. So yeah, Marielle has got her mum's back right now. She's like, yeah, I'm going to interrogate him with you. But it's really sad. It's really sad that he's been brought around here. And the other girls in the house, I would imagine that they're upstairs. Yeah, they're in Marielle's bedroom. It's probably the only excuse they get to go in there, like when Marielle isn't here. I think they're probably a little bit confused as to why she has all these really weird things in her room as well. Now, Irvin Stevenson is actually trying to leave, so he's going to have a really unpleasant surprise when he finds out that he actually can't leave. It's pretty bad. I would imagine this conversation to be very unpleasant. It would be a lot about Elizabeth asking him what on earth was happening over at Eve's house, what his intentions are for Eve. And I think that Marielle would really just be in for somebody getting punished right now. So it doesn't really matter who. It doesn't even matter if it's Eve, because I don't think that Marielle even cares much for Eve anyway. And it's actually in the rules, in the witch tradition, that I haven't really figured out yet. I haven't written it down on paper. But part of the witch tradition is that any interference with humans is really bad. And what is actually supposed to happen to Eve or to Irvin, actually not to Irvin, but to Eve mainly, if she got found out, and she has actually been found out by Elizabeth now, it's whether Elizabeth is actually going to stick to those rules or if she's going to take pity on Eve and pretend like this whole thing never happened. But what would traditionally happen to Eve right now is Eve would be put probably in the basement down here, and she would be kept here for 48 hours after taking a deathly potion, and that would be pretty much it. So if she survives, she survives. If she unfortunately doesn't, she unfortunately doesn't. And that would be her fate. So we really just have to see what will happen there. But I don't actually think that Elizabeth will take any consequences with Eve, because she sympathizes with witches. And even though Eve isn't a typical witch, she still sympathizes with her. She's in the Elder Witches. They have a bond there. They have a connection. So if Elizabeth was going to take her anger out on absolutely anybody, it would definitely be Irvin Stevenson, which is really sad, because he's just like an innocent human who has nothing to do with anything. But yeah, that would pretty much be the consequences for poor Irvin here. Stevenson is now in the basement, and this is a really sad day, but it basically means that this was Elizabeth and Marielle's plan all along, to invite him round, to lure him into a false sense of security, to then interrogate him and to lock him away. So whether he lives or dies is really going to be up to every single person watching this video. So there are actually going to be two comments below, one that says live and one that says die, and they're both going to be from me. So whichever one you want to happen to him next after this point, whether it's live or die, it will be decided by next week, but whichever one you want to happen, thumbs up the comment, whether it's live or die, and that will be his future. So whichever you decide, every single opinion matters, and of course let me know what you think in the comments as well, because I would love to see what you think. And there is no signal down here, so I don't even know why he's pretending to be on his phone right now, or at least that's what I'm going with. But yeah, both decisions are going to have huge consequences for him in the future, because it's going to mean that whichever it is, whether it's live or die, if he lives, it means that he will probably not likely be able to spend his future with Eve, and it will be able to complicate things. They'll probably end up brainwashing him and doing the same thing to what they did with Devin. So just brainwashing him, he won't remember anything, and he'll just walk out into the world probably never knowing who Eve really was. So yeah, he'll get off scot-free and he'll have a life, but he will never be involved with Eve. And of course, if Eve's pregnant, that could cause massive consequences. If he dies, that will cause humongous drama with Eve in the future. She probably won't find out straight away, but when she does find out, that will be so bad. She's probably going to go crazy when she finds out, or if she finds out, if Marielle killed her lover. That would be really bad, and that would cause some huge problems in the future. In the park with Damien Merchant, and he has already made a new friend, which is Jenny, and I actually made her in a creator sim and she just decided to show up at the park. The reason why Damien is at the park, and the reason why he decided to go out in the middle of the day because everyone else is at school, is because he doesn't really have that much to do. And he doesn't really want to just spend his time moping around in the house. So it's really nice that he can get out and socialise with people in the town. Now, everybody in this neighbourhood, more or less, is really odd and creepy. So I mean, just look at this little girl down here. She is odd. She is weird. But yeah, loads of neighbours are just exactly like this. And Jenny is actually a very normal, down-to-earth looking sim. And she is actually a witch, but she's just not as powerful as the other witches that he knows in the witch boarding house and the elder witches and all sorts. So she is a witch, but she's just a real background witch. But she's a very nice person, and she's at this park and they are socialising together. And he's actually decided that before he marries Marielle, he wants to really do good. He wants to be able to really make as many people's lives happy as he possibly can and use his powers for the better. So that is why he has been reversing aging processes back of Sims. That's why when he first met Jenny here, he actually reversed her from being sad into being pretty happy. And yeah, he's just an overall really nice person. He's a little bit boring, I think, and that's how a lot of people would describe Damien, but he's quite genuine, and he knows that Marielle is not a nice person. He knows that when he marries her, it's not going to be the happiest life for him. And also, he's probably compensating for a lot of the bad things that he's heard about Marielle, because there are lots and lots of rumours going around the town that Marielle is just absolutely pure evil. He's not looking forward to it, but he knows he has to marry her. He knows that it's his job, I think. That's the best way to describe it. It's like his responsibility to marry her. So yeah, he doesn't want to mess that up, but he is really connecting with other Sims in the town. They look really cute together, and I would actually like him to be able to be friends with her. And I actually think that he would maybe have some feelings for her, even though they have really just met. So it's really early days, and it is completely against what he's supposed to do, because he is not supposed to date anybody else but Marielle, and that is just how it is at the moment. But Marielle is a loose cannon. She has been having feelings for Adam Farewell for a very long time. Damien knows that, so maybe it's time for Damien to be happy as well. Like, maybe it's time for him to have his own secrets, because let's face it, who doesn't have a secret in this town? In fact, there are a lot of secrets that I just haven't uncovered yet, but yeah, pretty much everybody has a secret. So just to introduce you to the little town a little bit, because the town is so cute. This is like a little old town, I think that's the best way to describe it, but we have like a little chapel thing in the middle here, a little clock tower. There are some things around here too. We have some shops, so some spooky shops. It's all very spooky orientated. It looks a lot better at night, I must admit. There is a chapel here, which I believe is going to come in really handy. If we ever have like a hidden secret marriage, then it would definitely be here. Their actual official marriages are supposed to be in a cemetery, which you'll probably be able to see in part 5 or part 6 as the Let's Play goes on. When it goes ahead, I can introduce you to Cemetery and also the Spirit Witch, who is going to be a massive part of the Cemetery. So yeah, definitely remember about the Spirit Witch, because she's going to be coming up in a Create a Sim, and she's very important. So she's a massive VIP in this LP. So yeah, anyway, going on to what else is up here, we have a little cookie place, some pumpkin carving things. So the town's really cute. But yeah, he's just spending his day speaking to people. I think that maybe he would flirt a little bit with her, maybe get some romantic interactions going, but of course we don't know if anything can ever become of this. I know that a lot of people were keen on Damien actually having a love affair with a human. I don't think that would be into Damien's interest. So he really knows that he would be locked into solitary confinement for 48 hours with a deathly potion if there was anything to do with humans. So no, that is not going to happen. And in fact, there really aren't humans going around. She's finding him really boring. She's finding him really boring. Of course she is, it's Damien. But no, I think that with Damien knowing those punishments, he can be a little bit of a coward as well. So yeah, that would be maybe the last thing which you would probably expect from him. But no, there aren't very many humans in the town. That's the plot that I'm going for anyway. So everybody that is being here at the moment, well, does tend to be a witch or a wizard or a spirit. He just really wants to make friends. He feels like it's the end of his life. And I don't blame him. I really don't. I mean, he's going to marry Marielle, for goodness sake. This poor man. Like, he really doesn't have it in for him. And that's even if she does marry him, because there's a very high chance that Marielle will find a way out of marrying him, just because she is a very evil and manipulative person, and that could mean a terrible fate for Damien or somebody else involved in that in the future. So we're at the wizard's house at the moment, and Tatum and Vivian are just sat down having a little bit of a flirt, and they are also stargazing, and it's not a very clever place to sit, I must say. In fact, this is really awful for anybody that wants to walk around them. I would be really distressed if somebody sat in front of my gateway of my house in that position. I'd be like, okay, get out my way, I need to walk past you. But no, I think that it's important for them to be able to socialise, because they had a massive connection in the last part. I found anyway, I think that these two make such a cute couple. Tatum actually has a massive secret that he's brought Vivian here to tell her, and it's really important that he does. It's important that these two have a good relationship together, or at least a friendship, so that he can share his secret with somebody that he trusts. And I think that he would trust Vivian. I think that he would if they were a little bit closer. So hopefully that will happen. I don't really know, but it would be really cute if they did. He's getting hungry as well, so I actually want him to go in and probably make some food in a little bit. But yeah, so as long as their friendship is up enough, then he can reveal his massive secret, which nobody else knows yet, and it's going to be a big thing for him to share with her. So I think they're becoming friends as well, which is really nice. So he's going to compliment her appearance, because I don't think that he's particularly fantastic at speaking to people that he likes. He didn't really know how to speak to her in the last part, or at least not very well, so she rejected him a few times. I think he definitely needs to go to the toilet first. I think she'll come in and follow him though, hopefully she will. Yeah, the wizard's boarding house is really busy at the moment though. It's just very male orientated. But in case you didn't see him in the last part, this is Onyx. This is Caleb O'Connor, who I adore. And let's see who else we have. We have a few wizards. I think we do. That's really odd that Balthazar is sleeping in Amelia's bed. That's really, really odd and stalkerish and just crazy. But yeah, so Tatum is up here on the toilet. Oh, isn't this pleasant? So he's just casually just in here while Oscar was washing his hands. He was on the toilet. What a lovely bromance that is. I don't think that the wizards would feel really awkward around Vivian being here. In fact, I think that because Vivian was round in the last pot, they would just see it as the normal. So they are still getting used to their friendship groups, and actually it would be really nice if the others got involved with some of the girls. So maybe Caleb would invite round Eliona just for convenience, just because like I can remember that those two had like a little conversation or something. So yeah, just for convenience, he's just going to invite around. Onyx is going to invite Devin round and loads of the other girls. I don't know if they would turn up, but it's just something to do. It's something for them to build their friendship up with them because it's important that they socialise. I'd actually also love to bring the secondary witches into the friendship group, but at least Vivian's got her friends here because these two are actually best friends. And I got the impression that Oscar maybe had something for Devin in the last part too, so they are definitely going to speak. But yeah, Tatum is just sort of building up to this big secret. He's not going to be telling all these people at once because his secret is a pretty bad secret which could have consequences in the future. And okay, I don't think Damien's even interested. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm so bored. No, he's like boring himself to death because Damien's so boring. No, I'm only joking. Damien is actually a little bit boring though. So he's going to go to bed upstairs with the other people's, let's see, spray monster under the bed. That's crazy. Okay, I don't think I can. I think I need to move those beds around a little bit. I feel like he would be a little bit more confident in front of her. He's feeling inspired as well. He's also, oh no, I didn't feed him. I did not feed him. Poor person. The kitchen's tiny as well, so he's actually just going to have this milk on the side because that is just the sort of thing that I think the wizards would do. They'd just like scavenge off each other. He would just be so lazy that he wouldn't even go into the fridge. He would just take what's ever on the side. Such a scavenger. And yeah, then he needs to go to bed. But before he does, he is going to reveal his big secret. And I think that they make such a cute couple. It would be lovely if she did accept him. She's looking like she's fully discussing the possibilities of maybe being with Tatum in the future. They're going to have their first kiss because their romantic interactions are just going fantastically at the moment. I think they make an amazing couple. And he's now going to reveal his big secret to Vivian.